Hey there, amigos. Tio here. So today I want to talk about why this viewer's 2016 Chevrolet Silverado won't start. Um, this is a comment that was put on my video 2015 Chevy Silverado, no crank, no start. Um, and when I clicked on the viewer's profile, I was looking for an email so I could send him back, and it showed that he was a brand new user as of yesterday. So he had no information on there, so I could do it. So it's a public comment, so we're going to use it. I'm going to put it up on your screen while I read it. My 2016 Chevrolet Silverado Z71 5.3 just died while driving, and it won't crank, I guess. The starter solenoid was melted a little bit. Put a new starter on, and I guess it gets power to the starter, still not cranking. So I'm guessing that's a question. There's no question mark, but I'm just guessing because I get them quite often by email or comments in my videos and stuff like that. So, and from other techs in the other shops. I mean, I have some techs that call me and ask me over and over again, what's the threshold for parasitic draws? How much draw should there be on the car? Same thing over and over again. But anyway, that happens. But let's address this one. Just died while driving, and it won't crank. So I often say no crank, no start, or no start, and people say, why don't you just say that it don't start? In my mind, and many that do this, it's two separate things, because if it won't crank, then that's one issue. But while you're driving, the car has already done its job of cranking, so it doesn't need that circuit anymore. So that won't be a reason for it to stall while you're going down the road. That's just my first observation. The next is the starter solenoid was melted a little bit. Was it melted? I mean, it might have been. Or was the white part of it browned because the heat from the wires and everything, it caused it to be brown, look like it is. Or it might be slightly melted, don't know. And then put a new starter on, and if it's getting power, the starter's still not cranking. So did the old one not have power? That's my questions, because all of this doesn't work. So the first part, much like your charging system, if you're going down the road, nowadays some cars do. So this is all general. So don't beat me up too bad. But this is general to try to help this guy out. The vehicle didn't need the crank circuit for the vehicle to run. If it stalled on you, it needed the crank circuit to start it back up again. So when it stalled, you pulled off the road and you went to crank it again. At that time, was your battery up? Was the dash lights on? Was it clicking through the starter? Do you have voltage drop on the starter circuit? I mean, it could be that. There's so many different things that could be, much like the charging circuit. That's what I'm saying. In general, if your charging circuit is working properly, you don't need the battery. On some of the newer cars, it does definitely need the battery, so don't beat me up too bad. But this is general. It's two separate things. If you're unfortunate that your light doesn't come on when you're going down the road for the charging circuit to tell you that it's discharging, the battery will die. And eventually, when it's dead, the car will shut off. You go and jump start it, and let's say it's daytime, so you don't need your headlights, so you don't need all this stuff. You jump start it, and it starts right back up. And so the first thing you think is, okay, I need a battery. So you go and buy a battery, and now that you bought that battery, it's brand new. You're only driving it during daytime, not much usage for what needs power. And a couple weeks later, it dies again. So you don't know that the alternator was, or something to do with your charging system was causing that battery drain, because Once that battery's dead and it's not charging, the car will cut off. So what caused this? I don't know, but they are separate things. So that's my point on that. So basic 101 on them, and I'm saying once you learn it, there's so many different ways to learn, and I get these questions all the time, and I get some people get angry with me when I tell them, you know, I don't know without checking. So I don't mean for it to be that way, but in this one, I wouldn't even know. I know where I would start testing, and that would be right here, just to rule this out. This is general, and for this, I think on the Silverados, it uses this one for the starter cell, and I think it uses a smaller one, but it's the same concept. It's 4 pins. Just say this is your relay, and it's in there, and that's what we have. 4 prongs. This is my battery. I'm going to put this up here. So when I keep doing that, I'm going to show you my battery. This is a test light from Harbor Freight, and it's less than 10 bucks. Let's say this is all you have to test things with, just to rule out the starter, because this is what I suspect. If that battery is charged, you can take this test light and hook it to the ground side, the black side, whatever you want to call it, of the battery, and with the relay removed, touch these pins inside there. Now you want to touch it, I say, don't jam it in there and spread them out, but just touch it lightly, and that light should come on. 2 of them should have power. If somebody's inside there having it in the crank position, at that time, 2 of them should have light. Then you take this and go from the ground over to the positive, hook it to the red side. Now when you touch something metal on the car, the light should come on. And the other 2, if you touch it while you're in the crank position, they should go and light up. That's just basic. So on this vehicle right here, I suspect that all 4 of them will light. That's what I'm saying. So to give you a direction on where to go, I would say if you want to learn on your own vehicle how to work on the car, so much information on the internet. Scanner Danner, I'm not a sponsor. Scanner Danner is a great place to start. For the price, you can't beat it. Long time premium member. I don't think I'll ever get rid of it. But you can learn basics all the way up to stuff I'm still learning over and over and over. And when you stop learning, it's time to quit doing this. But yes, I would say learn this. Otherwise, I would take it to a mechanic and let them do it. And if you're worried about them charging you too much, throwing parts at it, which is what happens in my work all the time. By the time I get it, everybody's already thrown every part you can think of at it. And if you're worried about, you've already replaced the starter, how much does that cost you? The other one's probably just fine, I think. Could be wrong, but again, I get, some people get upset with me when I'm trying to give them information, and I really, without throwing parts at it, I don't want to steer somebody down the wrong path. Just the basics on this one, I would say it probably never was the starter to begin with. And once you find out on these, and just going down that path, this will give you a direction, whichever one doesn't light, because it requires a certain thing to each one of these circuits. And this one, I'm saying control side, because you have a control side and you have a load side. The control side is normally the more challenging one, because on the 2000 Silverados, the control side of the relay was normally just an ignition switch. Once it's send power to it, it send power to that and then completed the circuit. Nowadays, it's the engine computer that sends a request to that to tell it that, okay, I see everything I need. I've got the right keys. I've got everything that I need in the computer. Yes, let's turn that on. And these could be lack of ground, You could have voltage drop on your cable down to the starter. So you need to learn the circuit, and that's how you do. But I suspect on this particular vehicle, I expect to see all four of them lights light up is what I expect to see. Now, one final note, if you take, because it could be the relay, if you take the relay out and swap it with another one, put it in, and it works, well, then the relay was bad. So I can't see that causing it to stall while driving, but you never know what's going on there. I would suspect something over here on the control side. Did it lose communication with the modules and stuff? That's what I'm suspecting. Now you're talking a lot, like that 2015 Chevy Silverado you watched the video on. But if you replace the relay, know this, not all relays are equal. They might look alike, but make sure you're replacing your relay with the one that it's supposed to be, because there are some components that require a different type of relay, and it'll actually damage the engine computer if you're using the wrong one. And I have seen that. That could happen. Just know that replace it with the right one if that's where you're at. So, in final, until next week when I do the video on the Honda, that one they throw parts at, and normally that's what I get. All the cars I get, somebody's already done everything they possibly can, and it's my job to figure it out. So I hope this guy doesn't go through that, but thanks for watching, guy, and I wish I could be more help, but hey, until the next one, amigos, I'm out.